Greetings and salutations, folks. It's 9 o'clock Sunday night, UK time. It can mean only one thing. It's time for the mail. Hello. Right. It's been a while. I'm back. And actually, surprisingly comfortable in front of the camera live. So, what's going on? Right. Last weekend, I took part... I haven't been live in a while, as you know, building up to be in front of the camera. Last weekend, I took part in a 48-hour sort of live build, group build for Models for Heroes, the charity I'm an ambassador for. And it spurred on two things, One, I love a little tanks, and two, getting back live, which is why we're here now. I see a hell yes. I need to start doing that again, don't I? Now, we've got a bit of a harsh lighting thing going on, but it works. And at some point, I will sort my lighting out. In the meantime, we're just here to chat. Now, what I would like to say is, links down below, the Google Doc is open for your terrain questions. Remember, we can't really have a terrain Q&A show if you don't give me your questions. So, the link is down below. If any of the moderators in the chat would like to throw that in, that would be great. You actually look good. You must have an expensive camera then. Now I'm just blasting myself with a ridiculous amount of light and knocking the contrast down. But I am good. I'm feeling really well, to be perfectly honest. And on the plus side, I'm back in the studio regularly now. And not just that, the content I'm producing, I'm enjoying it. Okay, and it is flowing like it's not a struggle. For example, I was in obviously, I've got my little love of tanks, which has sort of spurred on a little love of, let's start playing bolt action, which has spurred on a little bit of love of, let's dive back into the Burma build. So I was working on the defences and finishing those off, and as part of that, I did a little sidetrack and filmed a complete back to basics video, because, this will be good to show. I just nailed it. So, we like that. Right. Hello, Mel from across the pond. Thank you, CJ, CV, Menno, Diana, Paulo, CJ, Insane, hello, bud. Chrissy, Bat, Gunner, Loosely Collected. I like that. Funko Freddy. What time does it start? Right now, Funko. Right now. It's Funko time right now. So I'm going to start checking to see if we've got any Googles in. Right, if you're wondering what I'm actually working on, next live stream I'm going to have it set up so we've got a desk camera. Because I want to, I want to sort of like show off what I'm working on and stuff like that. I just don't have the tripod pole at home for the second camera right now. So, I got my little Sherman. It's quite a nice little tank, isn't it? It is only what's been painted up over here. We've got that one to do. I've got to get transfers on that one. Transfers on that one. Transfers on that one. And then hopefully, once they're all done, they'll all end up looking like that one. Which I'm quite pleased with, to be truthful. Come on. Quite chuffed with how that turned out. So, with the intent of actually playing and getting some games in, which is the plan. The benefit of low lighting is the reduced forehead shine. I can endorse that statement. What's a good way to adhere Green Stuff's tall shrubbery? Well, I've not used Green Stuff's tall shrubbery. But I would imagine, knowing Green Stuff, it's very light and fluffy and that sort of stuff. I'd probably go with a Stay Tacky latex adhesive, because that way you can just put it on the bits you need to, let it cure, and then it's sticky, so you just press it up against and you're good. But that's where I go with. Right. Now, I've not just been painting tanks and getting into that sort of stuff. You'll see behind me, I've actually sorted my living room out. Yes, lovely PJs. Sorted the paint out so I can actually get painting. I've got a painting station there. I've got my models there. And got this. Yeah, if you don't know what, I picked this up this weekend. Yeah, or should I say care package? Yeah, Combined Arms, World War II campaign game. Yeah, this is from Warlord Games. Yeah, and essentially it's a board game. Okay, but it's what you call it. Oh, it's done by Alessio, it's done by River Horse as well. Yeah, but it's what you call it. It's also a campaign system. And I've had an idea rattling around my head for a while. Yeah, and the idea is basically come up with what you call it, with a 3D map for a campaign system for the big Burma build. So I can actually play the Burma campaign. Now, I've got over here, let me see if I can get this without trashing my entire painting area. Got this. Yeah. Old friend sent me this. It was a bit of a care package. But it's the Chindit campaign map. Yeah, so that's all Burma, and that's the Chindit operations. And so it's like, well, I've got this, and I've got this, and it'd be really good to perhaps do something interesting with it, 3D wise, you know what I mean, like a build. So that's what's rattling around my head at the minute. Really, I should fold that and put it in there with that so it's safe. Do a big map, do the whole of Burma. Ah, you see, this is what I'm thinking about. Yeah, but there's a bit of a problem. In fact, I could probably illustrate that on the map. Killdeer, yeah, so you can play each battle in the full campaign with the bolt action. Now, what I really like about this, okay, is Warlord Games. They have a couple of games. They obviously got bolt action, but they've got Cruel Seas, which is a naval game, and they've got, is it Blood Red Skies, which is an air combat game. And so, you can actually include all three of the game variants in with the board play. Now, I'll get this out in a minute, yeah, for now, and show you what's in it and that sort of stuff. But you can do land battles, sea battles, and air battles on the tabletop, and then fingers crossed, match the campaign with this. What I don't know is how well it's going to track over to the Chindit operations, which were kind of different, and that's something I've got to work out. But this could be the base of it. So, one of my issues with doing Burma, yeah, is if I bring that up, yeah, that's the Burma campaign here. Yeah, you notice if I try and do Burma, I've got to figure out what bit of the map I get on, because there's a lot of wasted space down here. Yeah, there. So I've got to figure that out. But definitely the Bay of Bengal, definitely definitely the North and Mid Burma. I'm just not sure whether we go all the way down, if you know what I mean. Right. Chrissy's saying, the room looks very ordered, sir. Congrats. Oh, Combined Arms. Nice. Has anyone got any experience of playing Combined Arms in the chat, by the way? If you have, let me know so we can have a bit of a chat about it. Right, let me move my transfers. Yeah. Otherwise, I'll be losing them. And you know what it's like when you lose a transfer. Right. CJ saying, Scout car looking good, mate. Cheers, buddy. They're the last bits I need to do to finish off my Chindit army. And my Chindits, they are currently top shelf there. Yeah, so they're the last bits I need to do to finish them off. So I'm quite sort of keen to get them done. Bill making stuff, evening. So you could, yeah, big map to the whole. Chindits, take a drink. Indeed. Shakos and Sprues is saying, Modelling for Advantage has been doing a great playthrough of that game. Would love to see you make an actual board for it. A clean hobby desk is a sign of a sick mind. Actually, it's a sign of a healthy mind in my case. Yeah, I'm actually really chuffed. I know it sounds a little bit silly, but I'm really, really chuffed with this room. because now it's a bit like getting me back in the saddle and all that palaver. Yeah, now I'm back in the studio at the same time. I'm hanging out at my hobby desk and that sort of stuff, and I'm pottering with YouTube stuff a lot more. Yeah, and I'm enjoying it. So for me, it's it works. Anyway, it's not completely sort of like clean. You know, I've got the chaos. Ah, right. Hey, Diggy. Thank you for the, Mackie saying, thank you for the plethora of knowledge you've blessed upon us with all your vids. It's what we do, mate. It's what I love doing, or should I say. Love what you've been doing with the skulls, by the way, from Diana. There's a lot more to come along on that sort of stuff as well, to be perfectly honest. I've got this idea of doing a full swamp board, but what I don't want to do is, you know, go down a complete rabbit hole and do loads of swampy rocks, loads of swampy trees, all that sort of stuff constantly. So I'm just having a little dip back into the Burma build right now, and then we'll play around and see what else we've got. Okay, I cleared my hobby desk last week. Feels so much better for it. Hope it's working for you, Mel. It is, mate. It is, and it is a refresher. You're more likely to enjoy what you're doing if you like the space you're in. Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. You know, that doesn't mean that your space has got to be clean. All it means is you've got to actually like the space. So if you're a chaotic sort of modeler, and I've known plenty of chaotic modelers, you know, their desks, they don't actually like their desks to be clean. Yeah, they actually prefer their desks to be chaotic. Me, I quite like it that I can step in, you know, it's clean, it's orderly, I know where everything is. Yeah, it's the medic in me. Martin's saying, don't they have swamps in Burma? They do. You see, I've got to do all the swamps and the water and all that sort of stuff for Burma as well. But there's so much we've got to do for the Burma build. Yeah. Callisto is saying, I would like to see some swamp terrain. Sounds good. Yeah, but I don't just want to do simple swamp tile pieces. What I'd like to do is really sort of ramp it up, if you know what I mean. So the swamp pieces also have like dead trees and stuff like that. CJ saying, you lads are correct. It does feel good to order the madness after a fun build. Yeah, I know. It's sort of like getting your ducks in order. Whereas Menno's saying, clean desk, can't do it. Hey, Tom. Right, I will remind you that we have got links down below. Yeah, most importantly, the link to the Google Doc. We do need your questions. Model stuff switched to the right account. Good on you, buddy. Didn't watch your videos for months. I'm happy to see you in such a good condition again. I'm glad to be in such a good condition again, mate, to be perfectly honest. Yeah. It's been a bit of a roller coaster this past year. And definitely changed. Definitely. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, I know on the channel it's like, oh, he's only just getting back in the saddle. But from my point of view, yeah, massive changes and we're rolling. I've actually got quite a lot of good things I want to sort of have a play with and that sort of stuff. I've got my mate Lee, he's making me do this thing, yeah, which is promise less and deliver more. Yeah, which is basically, you know, just promise a little bit and then deliver. Yeah, because, you know, we've had ups and downs. Yeah, and so I'm really reluctant about saying what my ideas for the swamp terrain is because I don't want to build it up and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, see you later, Insane. Yeah, but I have got a really big skull. Yeah, and I could combine it with two other of my loves. One being castles and two, my love of grey. Just saying. Not making any promises beyond that. Hey, Demon. Hey, Gary, Tom. Right, let's have a look at these questions. Right, I've got one. You're going to get a short show if all you've got for me is one question, folks. Danielle? Angelo, I'm happy to see you back on the Sunday Night Live. Yeah. Pagan? Hello, stranger. Ahoy. Right. Now, I haven't looked in this combined arms box. Yeah, so Maybe Martin, maybe. I'm not making any promises. Be good though, wouldn't it? It's a corner piece. Not the full thing, but as a corner piece in a swamp. Calm myself. Calm myself. See, this is my problem. Yeah, I get excited about terrain. Evening, folks. David from Terrainiacs here. Can only tune in for what you call it? 10 minutes. Welcome along, mate. Right. Combined arms. So what's in the... I'll be honest with you. I unwrapped it. I had a quick watch on, pull it out. Yeah. Just have a quick nose, but let's have a proper nose. Right. It is a board game. Yeah, let's bring this camera down, actually. That's a bit better. We can do that. Right, so straight off, it looks... I'm not sure if it's... It's supposed to be for 2 players. Yeah, I don't know if 3 players can play it. Yeah, but we have 3 sets of counters. Yeah, each of these is the same. Yeah, let me pick a lighter one so you can see the details. Yeah, what you've basically got is you've got what looks like little tanks, you've got little infantry, you've got some boats, you've then got these factories and airfields and stuff like that. You've got some planes, and then you've got these arrow markers. Not sure what they're for. I see you're in board game now. Yeah. I'm wearing my Pandy shirt. Nice one, Tom. Right, so we've got 3 sets of these. On top of that, we've got some... this was kindly packaged by Mirella. I know some people collect these. Yeah, we've got some cards. We've got the rule books. We've got tiny dice. I know it's like a campaign system, but they're tiny dice. We've got what looks like to be some command boards. And clearly maps. Right, what have we got? Ooh, counters. Order counters. Vehicles. And I'm not sure what the rest are. So we'll have a look. Just while we wait for the questions to come in. I'm wearing out my Everybody Loves a Terrainiacs shirt. Nice. Right. Pacific. We have a battle map for Guatemala. Guadalcanal. Florida Islands. So, I'm guessing that's going to be used for a mix of air, sea and land. What's this one? Northwest Europe. Northwest Europe. Paris. Right. That's D-Day. North Africa. I see Crete, Tobruk, El Alamein. Yeah, that's the North Africa campaign. You know, the fight for Tobruk. And this one is Eastern Front. Oh, that's a bit topical. Is that Ukraine? Whew. Stuff is... Yeah. Small dice are normal. What's the name of the board game? The name of the board game is Combined Arms. Right. So, rulebook. Yeah, let's have a quick flick through. I mean, orders phase, air phase, resolution phase, end date phase. Sealed orders, air orders, and hexes. That seems pretty simple, to be truthful. Bit like me. Just setting up the game. It's basically move and watch, got attack. And then let's have a look at these cards. I'm trying to figure it out as we go. Right. Let's have a look at these. Going with the small dice instead of bigger ones stops an extra £5 watch color increase. It's the way it's going with games nowadays. I've never heard of that game. Is it new on the market? It's from a war games manufacturer. Yeah. Right, what are these? After your opponent completes an air order, you may place an air unit onto an enemy X-Tile. Supply depot. First strike. Each player places the card next to it. Annihilation. Each player draws Annihilation. Places the card. Okay. Right, so it's one of those games where the rules are simple, but everything is flavoured by the cards. So you got a mixture of national advantage, flip and resolve. This is going to take some figuring out. Right, I am not going to do this on stream. In fact, I'll have a play with it and then we'll talk about it in another stream. Dice towers are so cool. Yeah, I do like a good dice tower. Let's put those in there. That does look interesting though, to be perfectly honest. Right, where are we with the questions? I've got 3. We're getting there slowly. So, let me just bring that up. There we go. Oh. No. There we go. Right, so what's going on overall? We've got the big... I look like a midget there. You see, this is why I need the second camera on this. Jimmy's saying it's £50 RRP now. I'm sure it's not. No way. Combined arms. No, it's going for about anywhere between 30 and 40 online, mate. Warlord have got it in at 50, but online it's going anywhere between 30 and 40 pound. Amazon's got it for 39. Actually, how much have they got Terrain Essentials for? Just curious. $35. Firestorm's got it for 28. Wayland 33. I know, Wayland aren't selling it. Just curious, you know what I mean? Yep, £50 recommended retail price. It is 30 online. So I'm going to have a play with that and see where we're going with the idea of making a 3D map. Yeah. Let's put that there. So I'm thinking hex-based tiles. Yeah, that's so big. But I need to learn the rules and that sort of stuff of movement, and I need to make sure that the board works with the game, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So we're going to have a good play with that and see what we can come up with. Interesting. Right, I've been nattering long enough. I think we can do some questions. No, there is something I needed to talk to you all about. Yeah, this is important. Right, if you're one of those people who are part of the clan on Patreon, then what I've been doing lately is I've been putting out a weekly behind the scenes video from inside the studio. Yeah, showing you the sort of stuff I've been working on, nattering about stuff. We've got a bit of a group chat going about theming across terrain sets. Now, one of the things I'm also doing as part of that video is I'm asking people to contribute pictures of what they're working on onto the Patreon community tab. So if you go to my Patreon page, the link is down below. Yeah, go to the page and go to community. If you're one of the clan, you can post pictures of what you've been doing. And what I'm doing as part of like the weekly update is I'm sitting there and I'm going through that on screen and I'm chatting about it and, you know, I'm liking your stuff and talking. I can only do that if people submit stuff to it. Now, it's got about 4 or 5 posts for this week's, yeah, but I want to give a shout out now. So if any of you are in the clan or do support me on Patreon already, you can jump over there. You've got videos to watch. They're each about half hour, an hour long, chatting and that sort of stuff. But jump to the community tab, post your stuff. Now, the reason why I say that is because this weekend, with it being Mother's Day weekend and me being rushed on Friday, I didn't get a chance to film this Sunday's episode. So I'm doing it tomorrow in the studio. And so you've got a chance tonight, yeah, to get your stuff onto the community tab page on Patreon. And I can actually see it in the studio tomorrow when I'm filming the sort of, it's called Chatella. No, not like Nutella, as in Viking. You know, Valhalla, Chatella. Yeah, so we're calling it Chatella. But if you can get your stuff onto the onto the community tab, I can talk about it in tomorrow's video. And if you're not part of the gang on Patreon, join, become part of the gang. Plus, I've got this behind the scenery video doing thing now. It's quite interesting. I'm quite enjoying it. Right, that was the thing I needed to mention. And so far, I've got 3 questions. So, Nutella. I know. Right, so far, I've got 3 questions. Yeah, whereas I've got a lot more viewers. So, hint, hint. Right, I'm going to start going. If I run out, it's going to be a short show. Right. Tomicus, I have a wax melting pot and hot glue. I add the hot glue into Hearst Arts moulds to make pieces. Can you do that? And then again, it's silicon, isn't it? Any issues you know for the life expectancy of hot glue parts? Hot glue can dry and crack out, but these pieces are thicker than I regularly use. I find it's far less messy process than casting powders. Okay, so what we're basically talking about is hot glue over time. Yeah, right. Hot glue's a plastic, and it's an incredibly soft plastic. Okay, and so plastic can be affected by the environment. Yeah, pretty typically, it's affected by exposure to UV light. Okay, that affects hot glue as well. It can make it brittle. If it's painted, then I don't see how the UV light can affect it. You know, it's a bit of a difficult one to answer this completely because I've never been in a situation where I've had large blobs of hot glue over a long period of time. My use of hot glue is as a hot glue. Yeah. Chatella, mouthy Vikings. Chocolate Vikings. Sorry. But no, my sort of experience of using hot glue is very much, you know, as a glue and that sort of stuff. And I've got stuff that's been glued with hot glue for 15 years. And I haven't seen any real change in its state. So I can't think of anything, mate, to be perfectly honest. Yeah. If there's anyone in the chat who can contribute to this one, who knows something I don't, comments are there, guys. Always interested in stuff. Right. If I'm going to be talking, and we're going to be doing questions, well, no reason why I can't maybe do some transfers while I'm at it. Hey? I can't see a problem with that, can you? No. No problem at all. Keeps us busy. Right, let's soak that one up. Terrain lab. Yeah, how do you do a terrain lab on that though? I mean, we're talking about the aging of unless someone knows how to age hot glue, by 20 years in like a week. We're a bit... Benno saying, still enjoying my Hurst Arts moulds. Great results with dental plaster. I like Hurst Arts moulds, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, I've used them for donkey's ages. I like my Cristacal R in them. I get great results. Joe's saying UV lights, but even with UV lights, mate, I mean, we're talking about aging, 10 years worth of UV. I don't think it's doable, to be perfectly honest. Not outside of perhaps university sort of facilities. Get on there. Right. Okay, I've filled some tyre moulds with hot glue before and made tyre piles. Those have been sitting on my desk for at least a year unpainted with no noticeable change in them. Right, I like that idea. So what did you make your moulds out of? Were they already pre-made or were they manufactured moulds, if you know what I mean? Right, I'm just going to let that soak. Joe's going to look into that for us. I'm quite interested to see what where that goes. I mean, I know you can use hot glue in moulds and stuff like that. It's just not something I've done very often. I did it donkeys years ago with some rock moulds. You know, when the thick, ones. A real issue would be heat, I guess, making it melt in the summer. I don't think it'd be a problem with heat, to be perfectly honest. I mean, heat would probably soften it, but I don't think we'd have a genuine problem with it. Just take that transfer off there. Go on. There we go. And then move that round. Does anyone, when you're doing your transfers, do you find yourself wiggling them backwards and forwards to get them spot on? Or is it just me because I'm ridiculously... There you go. That was an easy one. Right. Never seen an issue with hot glue in over 25 years of using it, but exposure to heat may reactivate the glue. Now, yeah, exposure to heat does reactivate the glue. I often use the nozzle of my hot glue gun to quickly sort of reactivate it, and reposition it. Hey, cat. Why do you not critiques on the regular page to benefit of all? Because I'm focusing on Patreon at the moment to give value add to the people who've got me through, Doc. Right. I'm still watching. I'm in the Terrainiacs group. I think excessive drops in temperature can cause hot glue to crack. Yeah, I can imagine it would affect with cracking and that sort of stuff. Right. Let's move on from hot glue. Model stuff. Are you going to do the gopher dance again soon? The gopher dance will come back, no doubt, in due course. Yeah, let's get chatting and building terrain first, eh? Gopher dance, that's a blast from the past. I'm not sure if my hips can do it anymore. Right, bat. I'm building some 172 Nissan huts for World War II. I can't quite see from the reference photos that I can find. Are the front and the back walls bricked, mortar covered or wood framed? All three, mate. All three. I've seen Nissan huts personally, yeah, with all three. Yeah. It really depends what materials they got locally and that sort of stuff. Yeah, and how long they were going to be used for. So if they needed to knock up a load of them really quickly, yeah, they would do, wood timbers, which is what you'd see often in a lot of like army bases, that sort of stuff, where they're doing lots of them. RAF bases, yeah, they would more often have bricks and mortar ones, because at the same time they'd be building a lot of bricks and mortar structures on the RAF base. Yeah, mortar covered, I think that's just preference, to be perfectly honest. So with one of that, I would say it depends on, look at the other buildings around them, wherever you're using them, if you think that the Nissan huts are very much a temporary structure, go for wood panelling. Yeah. If you think that they're, if they're more of a permanent structure, part of the more permanent setup, okay, then doing bricks and mortar, mate. No worries, Bat. Hope it helped you, buddy. Right, question 4 of 5. You know where the links are if you need to send me questions. Otherwise, you may just have to sit in quiet while I do transfers. Right, Chrissy Ross, I have a question. Burma build related. Oh, yeah, now we're talking. I don't have an airbrush, but I have access to sprays and acrylic paints. How would you best blend green clump foliage around palm trees to the brown herb base? Right. I know exactly what you're talking about here, Chrissy. You're talking about how I get my sort of like faded effect. Yeah, where the ground around my, my foliage is, is stained, and it basically goes from the brown herbs, yeah, to the flock, but the flock's sort of browned and then goes lighter to the green. Dead simple, okay? Obviously, I use an airbrush for it because I've got one. If you've not got an airbrush, then when it comes time for you to actually seal the the piece, and you soak it with watered down PVA, have some thinned brown paint, and once you've saturated it in your PVA, just get your thin brown paint, pick it up on your brush and dab it along the edge, the meeting line of where your herbs meet your green flocks and scatters. Yeah, because it's already soaked and the whole piece is soaked. When you dab it down, the water that's already on the piece, yeah, will suck that out, but it won't give you a tide line. It'll sort of give you a faded effect. It'll take a couple of practice jobs to get the consistency right, because you want something that really is more like a wash than a paint. Yeah, but you want something that you can literally dab into the damp bits and just let it spread evenly. Yeah, and then that will give you the staining you're after. Yeah, and you can do that on flocks and that sort of stuff, because as long as they're saturated, they just sink down. Just don't put them right on the top. Put them around the bottom. Let the capillary action of the clump foliage and that sort of stuff suck it in, blend it in perfectly. You can never have a... Do you know what? I'm sick of palm trees. I realise palm trees are still my nemesis. I'm totally sick of them. Chrissy, no worries. I hope to help you, buddy. Jabba dabba down. Jabba dabba do. That's the way to jabba dabba do it. That's the way to jabba dabba do it. Oh, there you go. See? We've got another, we've clearly got another saying. That's the way to jabba dabba do it. Apologies for mentioning palm trees. No, I've got a ton of them at the minute, and I need to... They've always been my nemesis, palm trees have. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows my nemesis is palm trees. Yeah. Westy used to send me, send me inflatable ones. Take the mick. What's that? We need to buy you more palm trees. No, you don't. Listen, you're welcome to dip into my Amazon wish list. The stuff on there is for the studio and that sort of stuff. But if there's any palm trees on there, let me know, because I want them gone. I have enough palm trees. Tell me about it. Right, I think we've nailed the Burma Bill question. Hope that helps you, Chrissy. Any problems, give it a go. Remember, you can post it to the Terrainiacs group, or you can post it up to the clan. Right, links are both down below to the Terrainiacs group as well. Okay, Tom's got a question for us. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? As little as possible. Cat, there's no need to add flow aid into it, duck. If you're already dabbing it onto a wet surface, it'll flow anyway. You need to start a bamboo collective to melt to cure the palm tree phobia. I've got quite a lot of bamboo stems waiting to go as well. Right, What is the best all-round crafting material? MDF, balsa, plywood, foam, coffee stirrers, lolly sticks, yesterday's newspaper. What's the all-round best? MDF, balsa, ply, foam, coffee. Out of all of those, I'd say foam. Yeah, because foam is the only one you can sculpt in 3D. Can't do that with MDF, can't do it with balsa, plywood, coffee stirrers, lolly sticks, or yesterday's newspaper. Foam is thick and allows detailing. Calistro is what you call it. Coming in with the most versatile. Yeah, I'd say out of those, foam is the most versatile. I should point out that is question 5 of 5. So unless some of you start jumping in with the questions, we're just going to have a bimble in a chat. I mean, I don't mind that. I quite like it, to be perfectly honest. But you know, hot wire cutter is gold. I'd agree with that. So go on, tell you what, let's throw this one out there. Yeah? For the chat, to round this off. Yeah? What is your best all-round crafting material? Go on, let's give this a go. Let's see what we get. And in the meantime, I can have a little play with transfers. I had to ask a question after the tongue twister. It's quite a good question, to be honest, Tom. Bats come in with PVA. Yeah. Dana's cardboard. Martin's foam core. Gary's foam. See, we're hearing a lot of the commons. Cats wherever I can source for free. Now that is clever crafting. Craft sticks seem to be my most used for things. What do you mean by craft sticks? Chrissy's saying foam XPS, using a Proxon. I still need one of those. And a handheld cutter. It's enabled me to create a lot of non-wildlife terrain. Loosely saying toss up between cardboard and foam core, foam board. Jonathan's saying coloured grout. That's a little bit specialist. Tom's saying filler. You know I'm a great lover of filler. Call Me Cthulhu. Really good lighting. Now I'll agree with that one, mate. Plastic butchers saying use dryer sheets, foam and plaster. See, I've never used dryer sheets. I hear about them all the time, but I've never actually given them a go. You see, I don't have a dryer. I've got I've got a really small house, so I've got one of those washer condensers that gets it like 90% there, and then you've just got to let the steam evaporate. And if you don't, you're knackered. Honourable mention for TP plus PVA. No arguments there. Wall filler. Model stuff is mostly MDF at the moment, after I got my laser. I was expecting laser cutters to become more of a thing in the hobby than they actually have. I mean, it's crazy to think 3D printers have gone as far as they have, and laser cutters didn't. Use dried wet wipes melt. Now that I can get behind. Absolutely. No, say, all right. Coffee. Yeah, I go for coffee. I use Sculpty for small items and trees. Azrael saying craft sticks can be the coffee stirrers, popsicle sticks, or the wider versions. It's the tongue depressors. I end up with all three of the same kind with some work. Yeah, I can get that. I can fully get that. One of the 3D printer makers has a laser cutter on the way, so should be less than 1,000. So I think they're coming. I think they were an expensive buy-in right from the start, and I'll admit to that. You know what I mean? 3D printers are a lot cheaper. But for terrain makers, I feel like you can make more with a 3D printer than a laser, and they're generally cheaper when I've priced. Yeah, I can agree with that. You know, I really need to get into doing mine, to be perfectly honest. I'm that used to not having one that I don't think of using it, even though I've got it. And so I'm not using the sites where you would see all the resources and think, oh, that's cool, oh, that's cool, oh, that's cool. And so I'm sort of out of the loop on it. And so it's definitely something I want to get into, finally. Get that down there. Latest thing finished was a couple of days ago, using it with some bamboo skewers to make a stage, going for a festival gathering market stall. Yeah, I can see how, all the wood bits would work well for that. And they are cheap. Oh, now I've got the battle of getting the transfer actually off. Come on. These Warlord transfers, they take some soaking to actually lift off the sheet. More than other transfers. Normally you soak a transfer and immediately it's all over the place. These are a challenge. Not with a teddy bear print on it. 3D printers are about below £100 for the entry-level models. Yeah. 3D printing is a hobby in itself. It certainly is. I mean, you see people online and stuff like that on Facebook, and they're using 3D printers and like the resin stuff. I need some tweezers. And they're printing like household ornaments and stuff like that, which is quite impressive. I've just got, there you go. I'm just fiddling with my transfer. I've got to get it straight. Right, push that down there. This would be far more interesting with a desk cam. So next Sunday nighter, I'll have a desk cam set up and we can actually work on stuff while we talk. And you can actually see what I'm working on. Right. Tom, I agree with that. I kind of feel 3D printing is great, but it kind of kills the joy of actually fabricating with your own hands. Saying this, I prefer book to Kindles. No, what you call it? I think what you're recognising there is the difference between 3D printing to enable a hobby and terrain making, which is a hobby. Yeah, there's a lot of people who approach terrain in two different ways. Yeah, you can either approach it as, I need to make terrain so I can play my game, which is my hobby. Yeah, or you can be one of those people where the terrain making is a significant part of my hobby. And if you're the sort of person who watches me babble on about PVA on a Sunday night, I have a feeling that the majority of these people, I can print it, but I quite enjoy making it. You know what I mean? Let me just take the moisture off that. Don't move about. Stay still. There you go. Actually, that doesn't look right. That's tiny. Don't like that. Let's get that off. Put it somewhere else. Where should we put that? On the side of here? Shame to waste the decal. I don't like those. In fact, no, I don't like the. I've got a circular decal. One of the American circular star ones. And I really don't like it. So I'm going to skip it and just stick with the standard stars. Right. Makes use of laser engraver on stuff EPM for cosplay stuff, for terrain, then hardens the surface with a heat gun. Apart from the Stargate, I use my 3D printer for the Gribblies. I need to find more Gribblies to print. 3D printing also gives a good starting point for a lot of detailed work on things. This is where I see 3D printing being of benefit, to be truthful, if I'm completely honest, in the Gribbly style of stuff. can craft what I can and 3D print the other way that I would otherwise struggle to make. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes total sense. I don't even make terrain, but I find a lot of the things you teach are transferable across the range of crafts. So what do you do, Diana? Because you are a regular viewer. I'm curious. I made a lot of terrain designs for terrain since I got my laser. Only problem is most potential buyers are in the UK and I'm EU. Hey, yeah, that's... The world's gone crazy, mate, on that count. Absolutely crazy. Dana watches me build stuff. Right. You can't do very good greelies on FM. Not really resin all the way. I know I need to get a resin printer at some point, but you know, I haven't got one. And so I've just got to use my what you call it? My FM. Is FM the right term? Everyone's sort of going around the same thing, that we all like the idea of 3D printers for getting detail for our builds and that sort of stuff. Perhaps we should have a round robin post on the Terrainiacs group of where your best greeblies are. Wargaming 3D. I didn't even know there was a Wargaming 3D. Thank you, Haley. Long time. Dave, good to see you, but thank you, buddy. FDM, sorry. I thought it was FDM. I wasn't sure. Let me just get this transfer up. Put that there. And then do the soaking till we can get it off. Right. Right, I've got a few more. Oh, I've got another question to do. So if there are any other questions before we jump into this next one, get them into the Google Doc now. Yeah, because I'll probably be wrapping the show rather shortly. I make random things like cards and stuff, but I am harnessing knowledge for when I need to make terrain for when I DM again. Ah, there we go. Don't go there. Your printer won't stand still. Right. Any comment like that, clearly, I need to go there. Wargaming 3D. Oh, God, yeah. Okay, I see what you mean. Oh, these are brilliant. Okay, you're right. I shouldn't have gone there. I really shouldn't have gone there. I really should not have gone there. Oh, my sweet dear printer. Makes me gutted now that I haven't got a resin one looking at some of these models. Have you seen them? They're brilliant. I'm just making myself upset now. Right. Let me get my star on straight. Before it sticks. You're right, I should not have gone there, but I have, and now it's stuck. That's better. Right. Forget you ever saw it. Can't happen. Can't happen. Right. What's the last question? Shakers and sprues. Got any good recommendations for basing with static grass to get a varied, realistic tone effect? Not a green field or a coloured patches. With that, it depends if you've got an access to an airbrush. Obviously, with an airbrush, you've got washes. You can spray what you call it static grass once it's been put down to get different tone effects. You can also dry brush it, to get different tone effects. That works as well. Okay, so there's two options there. Obviously, mixing different colours of static grass and that sort of stuff works. But if you're limited and you've only got, a certain colour, or typically the spring, green grass, which is a nightmare, you can use either spray on washes or dry brushing to get a different effect on it, mate. Other than that, that's about it from my point of view. Might as well start ordering filament and an extra printer. Save your pounds for a high-end resin printer. Otherwise, you'll end up with the three bears. I'm getting the small one, the medium one, and the big one. No worries, Shakos. Yeah, hope it helps. But yeah, airbrushing works. Yeah. Any more questions while you've got me, folks? Because my transfers have come out. Is that straight? Yeah, straight. There you go. That's better. Much better than the circular ones. Just got to put the ones on the side now. And then all the other transfers. Right, I'm going to wrap this up. We have done a good hour, which, considering is my first live Sunday night back, and I've only had 6 questions to answer, I'd say we've done all right. I'm quite chuffed with that. Right, obviously, like it if you've liked it. Links are down below if you've loved the show. Yeah, if you are part of the clan and you'd like to get your stuff on the clan video, post it onto the clan community page for me. Yeah, I will be back next Sunday night. This week's video coming up is a back to basics one. I won't tell you where it is. I'll let it be a bit of a surprise, but I'm working on the Burma build, so it's kind of related to that. In the meantime, guys, you have a cracking Sunday night. It's been great spending it with you, and I can't wait to spend next Sunday nights with you as well. All the best, yeah? Ta-da.